Hello there, thank you for joining us on the Diaspora here on the NTA. Now this week we are talking politics as we look at the conduct and outcome of the 2019 general elections. What are Nigerians in the diaspora saying? Did they follow the process? What are their expectations from its outcome? Welcome to the program. I am Makut Simon Macham. Now let's begin with the reactions of some Nigerians in the diaspora that were actually back home for the elections. They had many roles to play, including voting, monitoring, and of course following the process. What did they have to say? What did they observe? And of course, what do they think about what has gone down?
My assessment of the 2019 elections was that it was credible, it was peaceful, and it was fair. You will recall that the Minister of State, the British Minister of State for Africa, Harriet Baldwin, the US ambassador, and the monitors, the observers from the African Union all agreed that the election was relatively peaceful, it was credible. However, although in some parts of the country, the southern part of the country, there were some challenges and some issues. But the president in his address has said that he was going to, that those that were involved in such violence that happened will be dealt with. But generally, like I said, it was peaceful, credible, and the outcome showed that the Nigerian masses have spoken, that the person that they want to lead them to the next level is President Muhammadu Buhari. Well, the level of interest Nigerians in diaspora was enormous. Like, as you know, we are the Buhari Diaspora Support Organization. We mobilize diasporans abroad and Nigerians at home. We held various mobilization seminars and rallies in Nigeria. We had thousands, hundreds and thousands also of volunteers in Nigeria that helped us to campaign door to door, house to house, media publications to mobilize support for President Muhammadu Buhari. And we are happy and glad that it has been successful. And what we expect from those that have been elected is that they should work. Unlike before, where there has been conflict between the legislators and the executive arm, we hope that the newly elected legislators will unite with the executive so that they can work and move the country forward in terms of legislative policies for the economic, political, and social development. I call on all Nigerians, irrespective of tribe, political leanings, and religion, to unite and support President Muhammadu Buhari as the person that will lead us to the greatness that we all desire and deserve.
I've been involved one way or the other, going around to campaign door to door, going to so many places to campaign because we actually believe it's going to work this time around. And we can see it's working. This is the era where people have to vote, and they actually voted, and their votes is being counted. So I think we are happy to see things working the way it's supposed to be.
Are you, do you have issues that come up about development in our campaigns? Is it issue-based, as people would like to say? What do you think about the discourse even before elections? Is there proper engagement with the electorate?
Well, just the way people will say in the Nigerian way, we will get there one day. But we can see, even though we're not where we're supposed to be, we are not where we used to be. It is now better. We are moving forward, although some campaigns are might not be necessary, because when you go for a campaign and it's like sharing money over there, this is not what we're talking about. And it is the area where people now know what is good for them. They don't want to eat the future of their children anymore. They are like, let's see what is going on, let's see what you're doing. It is by what you do that we go for.
Now, you're a member of the Buhari Diaspora network, I believe that's it. Why are the Nigerians in the diaspora, your group, Why are you interested in President Muhammadu Buhari?
Well, that is like, if you just leave me to talk about that, you will spend the whole day here. He's somebody that we can actually see his mission. There's no need for anybody to tell you about him. He has this vision and he's working on it. He's not looking at any other person. He doesn't care what people say about it, because he's trying to take us to a higher place, the next level per se. We've seen so many things he's done for the short time that he spent there, although people might not be seeing it clearly. But by the time, you know, I keep telling people, when something is bad, you can't just make it work immediately. It's working. We are seeing so many things. In fact, if you look at so many places now, you will see the touches of one thing or the other being done by the government.
This election, I know, is going to take us to the next level, because the government has been working. So we want continuity, and I'm sure that there will be continuity to the next level.
Okay, now, most times there are challenges in Nigeria where politics is not really seen as service. Rather, people want to use it for personal gains, and so development is not as good as we expected. What do you expect to see going forward?
Well, you know, things have gone bad in the past. So the government have been trying to revive everything. And I know things will still get better. There's power and there will be improvement. The road network, you know, the railway lines, everything is in place, even from Lagos to Abuja, from Abuja to Kaduna, you know, all those transportation, even job opportunities, so many things that we can think of. So we are expecting more things from the government, which all people will benefit from the grassroots to the upper level.
What kind of support would Nigeria needs from the diaspora in this time?
Yes, the diasporans, they are coming together that everybody should come home to invest. Instead of taking all the money and staying there in diaspora, you know, they should come home. When they invest, there will be job opportunities. There will be more people that will be employed, especially the youths in the country. So everybody, there will be no poverty, you know, there will be improvement in all ramifications.
One, we are actually happy at the turnout that people came out. And like we have some of the diaspora too, who are to travel to Nigeria to vote. So that's a welcoming process, and for the first time we see people who now believe that their vote really counted. So thank you.
Now, for you as a support group, what would you say was your contribution to the whole process, particularly President Buhari's re-election?
We believe in Buhari, we believe in this government, and we believe in what he stands for. Is Mr. Integrity, and we believe in him. So for most of us here, we've been doing door-to-door campaign even before the election, just to let people know of what he's doing and his intentions and what he believes in. So with that, we've been able to get to know what some Nigeria feel about this government, where they want them to improve on, like reshuffling and all that. So it's been a great one from us.
While these Nigerians were here monitoring the process, some others were all over the world following keenly what was happening back home. My colleague Joy Osiago in Canada gives us an insight into what Nigerians in Canada have been saying about the elections.
Well, Nigerians in the diaspora are excited about our growing democracy. And so they're all monitoring the electoral process. Some of them are on various social media platforms. I follow a lot of them and I hear their arguments. And it's quite interesting the kind of passion they put into most of these discussions. And it tells me that they're really passionate about Nigeria and they want Nigeria to grow. So let's hear the views of some Nigerians in Canada.
People are more excited about this election. They came out in droves.
Looking at the electorate and the passion and their interest, yes, they were very passionate and they were quite engaged. I would say that Nigeria is growing. I know that on social media and in other conversations, people like to compare Nigeria to the UK or to the US, but that would be a little bit unfair because we're a growing democracy and we don't have a lot of the infrastructure they do have. So we have to manage our expectations.
The awareness now is massive. People you think don't know things or never used to pay attention to things about politics. Everybody wants to know what's happening, and it's good because it makes the politicians or our leaders be up and doing.
The turnout of the election was very good. More and more Nigerians decided to come out to try and vote and to decide to make a decision or make a stand as to who they want to lead the country.
We believe we are moving ahead in the right direction. And when the result comes out, I'm appealing for all the politicians and all the people of the country to please embrace the results, the voice of the people.
Well, thank you very much, Joy, for giving us an insight into the thinking of Nigerians in Canada about the elections. Still on the elections, but this time we go to Senegal, where my colleague Julieta Aina spoke with some Nigerians in the diaspora living and working in that country about the elections and how it all went.
What I expect from whoever that wins the election is for the government of Nigeria. You can see Nigerians, we are suffering and we have a lot of things to do. So I pray that whoever that will be there, that person should lead well and do well.
And what kind of advice do you want to give to Nigerians and even the government?
Okay, the advice I want to give to the Nigerian government is this. Here in Senegal, I've been here for 9 years. They are doing well. Nigeria, we are suffering a lot here, and a lot in Nigeria they are suffering. So I pray that anybody that comes in as the leader of Nigeria should probably do well and lead well and give us the good government. That's what we pray for. You can see Nigeria are suffering for road, electricity, and a lot of things, food. So even as I came back from Nigeria a few days ago, I experienced a lot of things, killings and other things. So I think those things used to stop. That's what I pray from them.
So far, it has been a credible election, no violence, and I saw Nigeria coming out in their masses to come and vote, to cast their vote. I think it's a development for us.
Okay. Do you have any advice for whoever wins?
Yes. I have advice for the winners and even the losers.
The expectations.
Yeah. Anyone that will win this election, the next president, should think of the people, especially in the area of electricity. Electricity is giving us headache in Nigeria. It should be able to light up Nigeria so that people can take decisions and do things on their own. It's a basic need in Nigeria. Any president that can do that at least has done well, has done all, as a matter of fact.
So that's all?
Yes, for now. And the peace also, it should be able to keep peace and put the people under security and all that.
I believe that the new government or the incoming government should try to change the security system of Nigeria. Especially they should also help in provision of electricity, because most of the time I travel to Nigeria, I have problem with electricity, and the poor people are suffering of poor water. There is no circulation of water to the poor people. Everybody is engaged with creating boreholes, but not everybody has money in Nigeria to create boreholes. Only the chiefs and the businessmen and the big people that have access to water. But in Nigeria, everybody pays tax, and Nigeria has a lot of money from oil and other businesses and taxation. But why Nigeria is not able to use such money to help the poor people to get good water? That is my point. So I am pleading on behalf of the poor people in Nigeria that the new government, whoever that must win, should make sure that Nigerian citizens, especially the poor ones, must have access to good water, good electricity, and good roads. Then, security-wise, the poor people are suffering it, because it is always the poor people that do not have private security to secure themselves from harm. So that is what I expect from the new government.
Thank you very much, Julieta. Indeed, Nigerians in the diaspora are very keen on what happens back home. And of course, they are excited that the process has come and gone, but very expectant also that indeed Nigeria will move to the next level. Thank you very much. But let's come back home and speak with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa.
In fact, the number of Nigerians in diaspora who registered to vote and came home to vote is very, very impressive. You know, a lot of them, and you know, I think it's more about showing more interest in what is going on in your country. I mean, in the last 4 years of this administration, President Buhari has actually pushed diaspora issues, you know, giving diaspora issues quite some priority. And every time he travels, he meets with them, engages with them, and, you know, share ideas and information and all that. So I'm not surprised that the number that actually came to vote was very, very impressive. One, those in the neighboring African states, you know, Benin, Ghana. And for APC as a party, we have quite a huge number of registered APC voters who actually came and voted for the president and mobilized. So beyond coming themselves to vote, they did door-to-door campaigns. You know, some of our APC diaspora this time around did door-to-door campaigns, went to the markets, went to the streets, and went to talk to people. And they also, you know, did a lot of sensitization, telling their people why we think you should vote in this election. You know, so it underscores the need again to come back to the issue of diaspora voting. Some days it has to happen. It doesn't have to happen or everything at the same time. It could be maybe our personnel that are transferred to offices abroad. We can start small, but it has to happen. This year alone, they remitted $2 billion more than they did in the past. So the highest, now we're talking about remitting about $27 billion to the economy in the year 2018. So it's not a group that you can ignore. And the issue of voting will be paramount. So while, you know, we know that because of the interest of their country, they're coming home to vote and all that, we have to encourage diaspora voting subsequently. And it should be one of the key things to put forward to the 9th Assembly. I mean, there are modalities to go about it. Like I said, you don't have to start big. You can start small with some select groups. For instance, like we said, our personnel, people working in the diaspora, and then you move on from there. So for me, I was very impressed. And particularly from neighboring countries like Ghana, Benin, a lot of them came back to vote for, well, the candidates of their choice. While APC as a party had a directorate for diaspora. That had never happened before. So we also had our own directorate for diaspora where they participated fully. And I'm telling you, the impact they made was very, very effective and very, very meaningful.
Are they discussing the expectations with you as the chairperson?
Oh, absolutely.
From both the president in particular and then other elected persons, both at the state and federal level?
Oh, absolutely. I think what they're all saying is that, number one, let the votes count. That is one. Two, in the case of President Buhari, we also sharing documents with them on the next level document of where President Buhari is taking us to. Now, his areas of corruption, insecurity, economy, we've heard and seen all that, and progress made. The next stage is consolidation. As we move on, we want to see more convictions of those who have stolen the nation's money. As we move on, you see that sanity is coming back into the system. You know, in the sense that, I mean, it's not easy anymore to just dip your hand into the government purse like it's your father's property. So we're making progress in that regard. And the key things that we discuss is that President Buhari is doing some major things. Number one is building infrastructure, and that will continue. Massive infrastructural development all over Nigeria will continue. And that includes power. A situation where our power generation, I mean, we're looking forward to a situation where it's going to be 24 hours. But again, it's a gradual process, and we're seeing some improvement. He's building people in the sense that the vulnerable poor are being reached out to by this administration. It has never happened before. Now we're beginning to have a social welfare program. Now, if you got 10,000 this time around, you've returned your 10,000. The next thing you can get 20, 50, 100. So we're moving to 100 to 1 million to help people with their businesses. They felt it was a bit, and then they also felt, you know, we should move to being able to vote on your phone and all that. But we'll get to all those levels subsequently. But as it is now, we had relatively free and fair elections, pockets of violence in some places, which is not acceptable, but relatively very transparent, and you could see that it's becoming more difficult to rig elections in Nigeria. Gone are the days where you sit in a room and write results, you know? All that is changing. So it's a gradual process, and I can only see it getting better as we move on. And we also told them that, you know, whatever ways, suggestions they want to have with INEC, you know, for the diaspora generally, we had a meeting once with INEC. We'll have those continuous engagements with INEC, you know, to meet them in the diaspora and all that. So we're open to ideas, suggestions, and the commission or my office will work with, you know, getting them to have an engagement with INEC, putting up their observations and ways they can help. Some just want to, you know, help voluntarily. They're not asking for anything. It's for the good of the country and the nation. So yes, we're growing, but we're moving on steadily and gradually, and I believe we're progressing.
It's time to take some diaspora news. Another batch of 330 irregular Nigerian migrants have been repatriated to Nigeria from Libya. Spokesperson of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Judge Edokpa, in a statement disclosed that the repatriation was carried out in conjunction with the International Organization for Migration. Nigerian government is continuing its protest to the Ghanaian authorities over the deportation of 723 Nigerians from Ghana. Both the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Diaspora Commission have continued to engage the Ghanaian authorities to register Nigeria's displeasure over what it says involves maltreatment of Nigerians. A Nigerian, Wendy Okolo, has made history as the first black woman to bag a PhD in aerospace engineering. Wendy Okolo got a PhD from the University of Texas in the United States. She is a researcher at NASA. And that's our program for this week. Thank you very much for watching. On behalf of everyone who has made this program a success, I am Maku Simon Macham, thanking you for watching, and of course inviting you to join us next time for another edition. Hopefully, we shall be bringing you more reactions from Nigerians in the diaspora on the conduct of the 2019 Nigerian general elections. Bye for now.